Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Adam in the Garden Path. In today's episode, we're going to discuss Adam in the image of Allah. So, when we look at the stories that are in the Quran, within the Hadith, within the broader prophetic tradition, Adam alayhi salam, he appears many, many times, as does his wife Hawa or Eve, peace be upon her. A very interesting story is found in the Quran. It's also found in similar accounts in some ancient extra-canonical literature from Jews and Christians from maybe 2,000 plus years ago, if I'm remembering correctly. So in the Quranic account, we've got Allah creating Adam, and then there are hadith that are connected to this, whereby Allah takes his own two hands and molds Adam from black loam clay or black river clay, melanated clay, pigmented clay, and molds a human being. So in the shape of a man, all right? So this is before the ruh is placed within Adam. So basically we're taking kun created clay, and Allah takes kun created water, which holds the vibration of kun within it, brings them together, and then we've got this image of man. It's almost, think about like statues. So it's almost like the metaphor is that Allah is making a statue of a human, and containing all the elements of this created world, this created realm, and blending them together, molding them together. And I've heard writers discuss it by using both hands. These symbolize, mercy, compassion, forgiveness, kindness, love. The left hand relates to justice, discernment, wrath. So you've got positive and negative qualities, or I like to bracket those off, and we can think about those separately. But basically, you've got all the different 99 beautiful names that are now fused into this image of man. All right, and in another episode we'll discuss the day of the last am I not your Lord, that scene, and that's important. This is another piece of the puzzle. We're putting together a puzzle, inshallah, in order to better understand who we are as humans, where we have been, where we are headed to. And so he goes and he molds humanity and infuses him with all of these names and all of these qualities. So we have these connections built into us that connect us to all of creation. And all of creation is interconnected, interdependent, interpenetrating. Now we see a scene where the ruh is blown into humanity. And now we've got a living creature who's capable of self-awareness, to have a conscience, to potentially have ethical awareness, spiritual awareness, energetic awareness. We hear throughout the Quran and in the Hadith about Adam alayhi salam being able to name everything in the realm of creation. So he is able to observe. How do you name something? You must observe it very, very closely. You must see the actions that it partakes in. You must study its qualities, its quantity, all the different aspects of what makes something what it is. As far as you take the person, the place, the thing, the idea, and then you determine its characteristics, its qualities, its traits. So Adam is able to observe that. Now, how is he observing that? I would argue that he's observing it through his eyes, through his ears, through his tongue, through his tactile sensation, so his skin apparatus, through his smell, through his sense. So basically through the sense doors, but also because he's already interconnected with all of creation, I would argue that he is able to observe with the mind's eye and with the heart. And he can connect with everything in creation, and he can communicate with everything in creation because he's been created as the caliph of the earth. All right, so just back to this image So Allah has made this almost like a statue. In the scene, it seems very statue-like. We're being created. And remember, this is going to represent, anytime we're talking about the Quran, the Bible, I would argue pretty much almost anything, we need to read individuals as an individual, as a collective, as a community. And there's much to contemplate here. So Adam, we're talking about the collective of humanity. And in the image of Allah, so this is Allah's image. Allah is creating this man, this humanity, us, as a personal project. An artist infuses their love, their creativity, they personalize it. They're very present and appreciative of what they're doing. This is the path of creativity, and Allah is the creator, the beautifier, beauty itself. And so he creates this wondrous, beautiful creation, but it's only with the ruh being infused or blown into Adam alayhi salam that we see us begin to come into our self-awareness. And this pulls together, it comes together with a lot of other hadith and narrations. But I just wanted in this episode for us just to consider a different way of looking at the image of Allah as being like, that's why when we create a statue, if we were to create a statue and put our devotion toward it, it would be false, because that statue cannot do anything for us. It's going to be lifeless. It might be at best a means of contemplating who we are. So a mirror, perhaps. Also, it's interesting to get to that mirror. When you look at humanity in Adam, before the ruh is blown in, and maybe even after the ruh is blown into Adam alayhi salam, we can think about our flesh, in some sense, our sacred clay, being a type of mirror to reflect the sacred names, the beautiful names, because we can express the beautiful names to some extent. We have compassion within us. We have mercy. We have love. We can be forgiving. We can be wrathful and vengeful. We can be all these things. Now, it doesn't mean that we should be wrathful and vengeful, but we have the ability to express these things, to express judgment, to express justice. And that's why each of the names also has an Abdul associated with it. So we've got Abdullah and all of the different, servant of the forgiving, servant of the expander and contractor. So when we actually go through the purifying Tawbah and Tazkiyah process, these divine names begin to reflect from us. So we reflect these beautiful names. And this is a way that in being in the image of Allah, it's different. I see it as different from how some earlier peoples of the books have conceived of it. This is found in some of the Sufi literature, what I'm talking about, and things that I've contemplated. I'm not saying that this is right on or absolutely correct, but I'm trying to present some tools for us to think with. And perhaps you haven't thought about this story in this light, and it might lead to some interesting insights. Because, for instance, if we are in the image of Allah, we are a living, talking, thinking, feeling creature that's capable of being interconnected with all of creation, communicating and protecting all of creation, as I believe that we were called to do, because each of us needs to come into our Adamic reality, which is, he contains all of the prophets, all of the awliya. May Allah be pleased with all of them. So in a state of purity, we express these, we reflect the names, we reflect them, we express them as we come into beautification, as we come into perfection and maturation. So I just wanted us to consider these possibilities when we think of what does it mean to be in the image of Allah. Like, so for instance, is it okay for you to go and harm someone who's in the image of Allah in this sense? If we are indeed a personal project of Allah, would this not better explain why we're not allowed to harm a friend of Allah, to harm a prophet? This is interesting to think with. So we can apply this in our personal lives and help to overcome our nefs that incites to selfish expression, our nefs that incites to evil, so to speak. So the nefs that incites to unhealthy expression, imbalanced and disharmonious expression. So I think that this holds great potential for transformation. And right now, because of what we're dealing with in the world, we need to be transformed into upright, pure, mature, excellent human beings as quickly as possible. So please consider what it means to be in the image of Allah as a personal project of the Creator Most High. Until next time, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.